watcher that never sleeps. Every evening, as twilight bled into night, Daniel found himself drawn to the window of his small living room, a habit born from a growing unease he couldn't quite explain. The street outside was usually silent, save for the occasional rustle of leaves or distant passing car. Yet, over the past week, he felt an unshakable sensation that someone was watching him from the shadows beyond the glass. The feeling settled deep in his chest, a cold weight that made him avert his eyes just as he caught a flicker of movement in the corner of his vision. Daniel tried to rationalize the sensation, telling himself it was just a trick of the light or his imagination working overtime. Yet, night after night, the feeling persisted and grew stronger. He began marking the hours on his calendar, noting when the presence felt most intense. It was always just after the streetlights flickered on, a time when the world seemed to hold its breath. He even set up a small camera by the window, hoping to catch a glimpse of whatever or whoever was out there. But the recordings showed nothing but empty darkness and swaying branches. Sleep became elusive. Every creak of the house, every whisper of wind against the panes, set Daniel's nerves on edge. His dreams were fragmented, filled with vague shapes just beyond perception, silhouettes that watched, waited, never approaching, but never leaving either. During the day, the unease lingered, gnawing at his confidence and making him second-guess mundane decisions. He started avoiding the window altogether, pulling the curtains tight, but the feeling didn't fade. It was as if the watcher existed beyond sight, embedded in the very air around him. One night, Daniel's resolve broke. He decided to confront the unknown. He stepped outside, the cool air sharp against his skin as he scanned the yard and the street beyond. The neighborhood was deserted, bathed in the pale glow of street lamps. At the edge of the property, just beyond the reach of the porch light, a figure stood still, indistinct and silent. Heart pounding, Daniel called out, but the figure vanished into the darkness like a wisp of smoke. No sound, no trace, only an imprint of dread that lingered long after the figure's disappearance. Determined to understand, Daniel reached out to neighbors, but no one else reported seeing anything unusual. Some suggested he might be stressed or imagining things, while others offered uneasy glances and quick subject changes. Feeling isolated, Daniel began to research local legends and stories about watchers and unseen presences. He found tales of protective spirits, restless shadows, and entities tied to places rather than people. The more he read, the more he wondered if the watcher was less a threat and more a sentinel, a being that observed without intent to harm, but whose mere presence unsettled those it watched. One evening, as Daniel sat by the window with a newfound calm, the watcher appeared again, this time clearer, a shadowy silhouette framed by the moonlight. Instead of fear, Daniel felt a strange comfort, as if an unseen guardian held vigil over him. The watcher didn't move closer, didn't speak, but its presence seemed to acknowledge his acceptance. Slowly, Daniel understood that some fears exist not to be conquered, but to teach us about the thin line between solitude and connection, between the known and the unseen. And sometimes, the watcher never sleeps, not out of menace, but because it is bound to watch over what it cannot leave behind.